Hey guys, my name is David Tortosa, and we'll be going over the parts of the pedestal. All right, first on the pedestal is the power button, which is really easy to locate. It's the big red button on the side here. All right, next we have all the locks of the pedestal. So I like to break them down in 3 sections. The first section being the head, the second being the pedestal self or the middle section, and the lower section being the last part of the locks. So let's start with the head. First we have the actual pan movement, which is right here on the front. It's going to be locked, so make sure you push it to the unlock position. All right, next we have the tilt lock, which is right here on this other side of the pedestal. So make sure we unlock that. And now you can tilt up and down on the pedestal, which I can't because you have a safety lock that you have to disengage, which is on the other side of the pedestal. It's on the lock position. I'll make it to unlock. Now I can freely move the pedestal. Let's go over to the middle section and the lower section as well. So I'm gonna lock this so it doesn't move around. And then I'm gonna go to the middle section, which is just the pedestal knob. And so what we're gonna do is unlock it, which is, I like to call it lefty-loosey, as far as a little trick to figure out where to unlock. And you don't have to unlock it all the way, just enough to where it's a little loose. And then I'll push down to disengage this red hook or this red safety lock. And I'll lift that up, and then it will slowly go up. When I pet it up, I like to have one hand on it, so just in case it tends to just jerk on up. Want to make sure that doesn't happen and that we maintain the safety of the camera. So I'm going to lift it up, ride it all the way up to a position where you need it to be. So let's say you want to go to middle position, just hold it there, top position. So just hold it wherever you want it to be. And once you're at the position that you want it to be at, you'll just lock it again. So I'll be here, I'm gonna lock it. Or if I wanna go a little lower, I'll unlock it and then lock it again. We wanna make sure that you are locked at every single position, because when it's loose and you're operating it, it tends to bounce, and we don't want that. Want to make sure that you're in control of the camera, and so we'll put it to a desired position and then we'll lock it. All right, next is the lower section, or I like to call the wheel section of the pedestal. And pretty simple. We have 3 wheel locks. As you can see, they're easy to locate with the red handle here. And you can use your hands, but a lot of people use their feet, so I recommend using your feet. But in unlock position, all these red handles are up. In a lock position, all the red handles are down. And now when you operate the pedestal, it's a good standard to have at least 2 locks down when you're operating. So let's say, for example, I want to move my pedestal, let's say a little bit closer to me. All right, so I want to stay there. Now I'll just lock 2 red handles. So at that point, the pedestal is not going to move and it's safe to operate. All right, next on the pedestal are the tensions. Now this is an important feature of the pedestals, and they're located under the camera right here. You have 3 knobs: counterbalance, tilt, and pan. Counterbalance you don't have to worry about usually, but on a routine basis, tilt and pan are what you want to focus on. And so what this means is it's at 0, so that means there's no tension at all. So I can move it freely. It's almost as if there's no restriction at all. If I move it to 1, you'll notice that there's a restriction. Now with these tensions, they have a little trick to them. So for example, if you're at 0, you can't automatically go to, let's say, 4 and really trust that the tensions are at 4. There's a little trick to this, like I said. What we try to do here at Athey Creek is kind of do our crosshairs movement, meaning that we go all the way up, all the way down, all the way left, all the way right. Vice versa. You can do it any other orientation. Just make sure that you engage both the tilt and the pan. Now the reason why we focus on the crosshairs and make sure that the tensions are engaged is because, let's say we have a still subject and we want to step away from our camera, we want to make sure that we trust this camera stays at its position. If we're at 0 and we want to go to 7 for a still subject, I want to make sure that I can step away from this camera and have it stay. And if you don't do that, say I go to 0, it was at 7 before, it's loose. If I go to 7 and I don't engage it, it still has a little bit of looseness to it, as you can see. It's like acting as if it was 0. But I moved it a little bit more to the left, you can see it lock there. So I'll do the exact same thing. And now I can trust my camera and step away from it and have it stay in place. Tensions are also important in worship. Let's say we want to do 4s for worship, which is kind of a loose but still steady tension setting. It's perfect for worship because you're able to move the camera but have it stay in case you want to let go of it. What we do here at Athey is all dependent on the volunteer. So let's say you are pretty advanced in the pedestal. You can go to 1. It's not really recommended because it is really loose. But again, it all depends on the volunteer. We strongly recommend 4s because it's kind of that in-between setting. It gives you more of that free movement, but also gives you that stiff movement as well, just in case you want to stay still. So that's the breakdown of the tension settings.